Welcome back everyone to Blend into Unreal Engine 5, the complete beginner's guide, and this is where we left it off. Alright, so what we want to do now is we want to mark the seams on here, then that'll make it a little bit easier for us when we actually bring it over and mirror it over the other parts. Now the thing is, we are going to change this wood, so if I put it on material, we are going to change this wood slightly from this one. I think we'll make it a little bit lighter than this one actually, but it's up to you at the end of the day whether you want to make it lighter or darker. You can see that this one already looks nice, but we do need a little bit of variation in those pieces of wood that are more exposed to the elements. As I said, if the sun's hitting it, normally it will end up a little bit, lighter. But the thing is, always use your references that I showed you in the beginning of this course. Alright, so let's get on with that now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate this out. You can actually isolate it out with question mark as well. So if you just press question mark, you can see that isolates everything out for you, making it really easy then to unwrap. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're actually going to come in and I'm going to grab the top and the bottom. I'm going to press Ctrl E, mark seams, and then I'm going to come around the back of here. And the reason I'm doing the back of here is this is a place where people aren't going to see. It's right in the corner there, into the actual wood. So if I click on this one, press Control, click on this one, right click and mark seam. Now the thing is with wood, because it's all going up, you won't really notice the seam so much, especially when it's the corner and things like that. But it's good to get used to marking seams where the player or the render is not actually going to see it. So that's really important. All right, so now I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the whole thing. I'm going to press U. And I'm going to go to unwrap like so. Now let's go to our UV map and we can see that these are unwrapped like so. Now at this point I should recommend that I actually do use a paid add-on to make this a little bit easier, and I will tell you what it's called and go through that. I'm not plugging an add-on or anything like that. I'm saying this add-on does make it easier. We're not going to use it in this course, but I'm saying you might want to check it out. So the add-on is called UV Squares, which can be found on the Blender market, and basically it's a way to actually straighten everything up. So you will notice now, this is the add-on. If we go back to the Blender scene, I'm going to go and actually put the add-on on just to show you. So preferences, and let's call it UV Squares. So UV Squares is the one that we're looking at. Click that on, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come to this. So if I come to this one, and grab it all the way down to there and press Alt and E, you can see that straightens it up. So why is that important? Well, first of all, let's actually bring in some wood and then we can see why this might be important, especially for on top of the Viking hut where you've got that beautiful rounded piece of wood. This makes it a little bit easier, and I will show you the other way of how we do this without actually using this add-on. So let's do both ways and then you can make a decision whether you think it's worth investing in something like that add-on. All right, so let's pull this over. Let's go to our material, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the old material first. So if I come in, click the down, we can see we've got cracked wood here. Now if we give it that, and then what we want to do is want to click on plus, and I want to click new, and then what I want to do is I want to call this light cracked wood. Like so, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this one. So I'm going to click on copy material, and then I'm going to click on paste material like so. Now what's happened there is you will see that it looks now exactly the same. If we go over to the shading panel, which is over here, and now we see we've got exactly the same setup as what we had with the other one. Now what we want to do is we actually want to, let's put it on rendered view first. Let's also, we haven't got really a lot of sun in here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this sun up a little bit. So I'm going to click on my sun. So you can see I've got this line clicked. You can either click it here or click it into over here in the scene collections. And what I want to do is just turn this up. Let's just turn it up to 2. Let's make it a little bit brighter just so we can see what we're doing. All right, let's let it load up. Now let's come back to our material now. So I'm going to click on this, click on my material. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to mess around with these just to make it a little bit lighter. So if I come in and I grab this one and bring it up, if that's actually going to make it lighter. Let's turn down the overlay first. Oh, that's with I think actually we haven't actually assigned this. Let's have a look. Have we assigned this? Oh, look, let's assign it. There we go. Now it's better. Now it's assigned. Okay. So we actually just had to go into object mode, edit mode, select it all, and then just assign it. And now we can actually make it a little bit lighter, like so. Now, of course, this is way too light. I'm just going to bring it back down a little bit. I'm also going to bring this down. Let's bring it down or up just to get it into something. Now, it wants to be very close to what you've already got, while looking slightly different. It's a very hard thing to get right, but you can see here, if I double tap the A, let's have a look at what this looks like now. I'm just wondering which way to go with this. I think I'm definitely going to go lighter. It's just how light I actually want it. Let's just bring back this one a little bit, like so. There we go. I think that actually looks good. Let's bring it down a tad. Wants to be very subtle, like that. I think that's going to look about right. All right, so now we've got that. Let's now go back over to our UV, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So if we come into here, you can see at the moment, the wood, you can see it's actually bending around here, and this is way more noticeable on things like barrels or the, as I said, the Viking top on top of here. Now, if we go in though, and come and grab all of this. So if we grab all of this and press Control E, press Alt E, straighten it all up. Now you can see it actually looks really nice that we've actually straightened all this up. And that is the reason why I recommend that that is one add-on that I would probably use. So let's just go back. So we'll press Control Z, and there you go. Now you can see it's bent back. All right, so as I say though on this, it's not that noticeable. But when it comes to something that's bent really a lot, it will be a lot more. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is I just want to show you how to do it the other way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to come to face select. I'm going to grab one face, which is near touching this seam down here. So grab one face like so, and then press L on the rest of it like so. And then what you're going to do is you're going to press U, and you're going to go to Light Map Pack, click OK. And then what you're going to do is you're going to press U, you're going to go to follow active quads, click OK. And now you're going to get something like this. Let's spin this round now. So R90 without proportional editing on. So R90, spin it round, and there you go. That is the other way of doing it. I have no idea why you actually need to light map pack it first, but if you go to follow active quads first, it's not actually going to work. Now, the other thing is we want to basically look to see if this wood looks good against this wood. So is it too big, this, or is it too small? So let's actually grab the whole thing. So I'm going to press A, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it smaller, like so, and then I'm going to look again and see what that looks like. And I think actually that is looking pretty nice now. The one thing we need to be careful of, as we looked at before, is we don't end up with all the same, kind of thing, points on here. The other thing is as well, if you move this, so if I press G, I can move it anywhere I want, but if I press the X button or the Y button, I can actually move it along the axis straight. So if I press X, it will move along this axis, and then I can get to exactly where I want it. So something like that, I think, looks pretty nice. All right, so now then, the final thing before we actually move this over to the other side is to actually randomize these parts. So if I go to modeling now, and then what I'm going to do is press the question mark again to bring everything back. Then I'm going to press the tab. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up to, where is it? Let's make sure, first of all, that we've got enough to actually bend. I think we have. But what I mean is we want to randomize it like this, but we don't want to have such a variety, because this is a big solid piece of wood. And normally on those, they're slightly bent, very slightly. So let's go up to Mesh, Transform. And let's come down to where it says randomize, like we did before. And let's just turn this down to 0 first, like so, and then turn it up 1. And now let's have a look at that. Now we can go back. I'm going to double tap the A as well. And you can see now it's very slightly bent. And that is what we're looking for. We don't want it to be straight or anything like that. Let's also as well put it onto our object mode. And let's have a look on that way. And I think that's going to be absolutely fine. Yeah, I think that's good to go. All right, so now then what we want to do is we want to put this over here, over here, over here. So the easiest way to do that is by using the mirror. So if I grab all of these basically, and then I press, let's press Shift S and cursor to selected. It should, if I press 7 to go over the top, put it right bang in the center. I'm hoping. So let's now go to our actual main support. Let's press Ctrl A, all transforms. Let's right click and set the origin this time to the 3D cursor. So basically, when I move this now, it should move around there. So let's try RZ, and it should, as you can see, it may be a little bit out. So let's give it a try first. What I'm going to do to see is I'm going to bring in a mirror and see if it pops it over there. Let's add modifier, bring in a mirror, and you can see it's slightly out. And what that means is it means that I need to move it slightly to actually get them in, because you can see that this then is not accurate to these two. So let's grab these two. Let's press Shift S now, so cursor to selected. And now let's grab this one, right click, set origin to 3D cursor, and there you go. Now you can see it's in perfectly. So it's just based on these and not these other two. Now what I want to do is I want to mirror it over to the back as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to this time click on the, let's try clicking on the Y like so. And we can see now that that is looking pretty much perfect going all the way up there. It's looking nice at the back. So in other words, the same length here as the same length here. So I think I'm actually happy with that. Now what we'll do on the next lesson is we need to actually move the UVs around a little bit and probably randomize them the other way. So randomize them a little bit differently from each other, because at the moment they're going to look pretty similar and we don't really want that. All right, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.